Once upon a time, in a quiet valley surrounded by moonlit hills, lived two sisters named Arya and Nira. Arya, the elder sister, was gentle and thoughtful. She loved taking care of their tiny wooden cottage and spent her free time gathering herbs for their mother. Nira, on the other hand, was carefree and playful. She loved spending hours by the silver lake, admiring her reflection and braiding her long golden hair. Every morning, Arya would wake before sunrise. She swept the dusty floors, prepared warm porridge, fed the chickens, and watered the herbs. Nira simply stretched, gazed at herself in the lake, and hummed happily. "Look at me," she whispered to her reflection. One day, their mother had to travel to a nearby village to help a sick friend. "Please take care of the house," she said. Arya nodded. Nira barely listened. She was already dreaming about the new ribbons she would wear in her hair. After their mother left, Arya took on all responsibilities. She cleaned the cottage, washed the clothes, and cooked meals. Nira found all of this terribly boring. Instead, she scattered flower petals on the floor, dipped her fingers in the soup before lunch, and sometimes hid Arya's broom just to tease her. "Why is the house messy again?" Arya sighed. "Maybe the wind blew everything around," Nira said with a mischievous grin. One bright afternoon, Nira wandered deep into the whispering woods. She plucked unripe berries, tossed leaves into the air, and twirled around joyfully. Suddenly, she noticed an old woman walking slowly with a trembling cane. "Dear child," the old woman whispered, "I am tired and hungry. Do you have something to share?" Nira didn't want to give away her sweet snacks. Instead, she picked a handful of sour, half-rotten berries from a nearby bush and handed them over. "Here you go, Grandma. These are delicious." The old woman tasted them and struggled not to grimace. "Thank you," she said softly, as Nira skipped away. She didn't notice the old woman sinking to the ground. Exhausted, that evening, Arya went to the woods to collect fresh mushrooms. There she found the old woman lying weakly by a tree. "Oh dear," Arya exclaimed.
"Oh dear.
You're cold and hungry.
Please come
With me."
Welcome
Arya
home.
brought her home, warmed her by the fire, cooked a gentle herb soup, and prepared warm tea. Nira wrinkled her nose. "Why bring her here? She looks dirty." "Nira, she needs help," Arya replied. But Nira secretly poured out the hot soup and replaced it with cold water. She quietly added salt into the herbal tea, so it tasted horrible. "Did you do this?" Arya asked sternly. "No," Nira lied. Maybe she did it herself. After 2 days of Arya's care, the old woman slowly recovered. She held Arya's hands and whispered, "You have a kind heart, child. Take these enchanted moonberries. If you ever fall ill, eat one each day." Arya thanked her. Not knowing the berries contained gentle magic, I look like a princess. Weeks passed. Arya worked day and night alone. Eventually, she became weak and feverish. "Nira, please bring me the moonberries," she murmured. But Nira had already eaten every single berry out of curiosity. They tasted sweet, and she couldn't resist. "There are none left," she lied. "Maybe birds took them." Arya grew weaker until she could barely sit up. That night, Nira went to the lake to comb her hair. Suddenly, the same old woman appeared beside her. "Child, where is your sister?" "She went out to pick flowers," Nira lied again. The old woman's eyes narrowed. She walked past Nira and headed straight toward the cottage. Seeing Arya's pale face, she felt heartbreak. Nira peeked through the window, giggling softly. But the giggle froze in her throat when the woman shimmered and transformed into a graceful fairy with wings, glowing like moonlight. The fairy turned to Nira. "I disguised myself to test your heart, but you chose selfishness again and again." Nira stepped backward, alarmed. "But you're a fairy. Grant me a wish then. I want the most beautiful hair in the world." "You wish for beauty while your sister lies suffering." Before Nira could respond, the fairy lifted her wand. Nira's long golden hair twisted into dry vines and leaves. No, my hair. It's hideous. She ran to the lake, screamed at her reflection, and fell to her knees. I look terrible. While she cried, the fairy returned to Arya, crushed a moonberry and placed it on her tongue. Warm light flowed through Arya's body. She opened her eyes. Thank you, fairy, she whispered. The fairy waved her wand, and their cottage transformed into a glittering palace. This is your reward for kindness, Arya. But Arya shook her head. What is a palace without my sister? Please, bring her back and give us our simple cottage again. That is my only wish. The fairy smiled warmly. Your heart shines brighter than moonlight. With a gentle wave, the palace turned back into their old wooden home. Then she restored Nira's golden hair. Nira ran to her sister and hugged her tightly. I'm sorry, Arya. I'll never hurt you again. I promise I'll change. And from that day on, Nira learned that true beauty comes from kindness. And happiness grows only when shared with others.